Hey guys, welcome back to the live streams on Wednesday, as always, at night in Spain at least. And any questions you have, film photography related, just feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer. I have a few questions that got in from Spain this morning, no, yesterday morning. But let me see. Computer kind of freezes when I start. Let me see if I can get the questions opening. Computer's not responding.
It's not there.
Okay, there it goes. Okay. Well, Camille has a question. So what do you think about the Bessa R2, the mechanical camera? I've never owned a Bessa camera, so I can't really tell you much about it. I don't know what the price point is for them. I would ask you first, what's the price on the Bessa? Because that's the first thing I don't know. But I'm a happy user of the M2, the Leica M2, and it's priced very close to, it's pretty cheap. It's like 400 euros, 400, 500 euros. And I pretty much like my M2. I don't say Bessas are good or bad. I don't know. I like the feel of the easiness and the simplicity on a Leica. But I'm guessing Bessas must be good. I mean, I know people really like them, and some people really don't like them, but I can't tell you much about them. Honestly, I'm sure they have a light meter, which is probably helpful for those that use it. And I'm looking at Camera Quest right now for the Bessa R2. It looks good. The grip looks nice. Probably a nice feature. It has a ton of hooks for straps, which, oh wait, there's 2 for the grip, 2 for the body. But yeah, can't tell you much. Hi everyone. I can see here Spain, Hal, Two Stones, Hogarth. Nice to see you guys. Hogarth is telling Camille, it's awesome. The viewfinder is awesome, but there isn't the all metal quality that the Leicas have. But I see no problems with it, especially at the price point. In addition, the camera has a good light meter, and the only downside is the smaller rangefinder base length. Yeah, I've never really had a big problem with smaller rangefinder base length. I guess if you shoot wide open, but it's never been mine. Yeah, just not a problem with me, at least. I usually stop down the lenses a bit. How it says recommended rangefinder besides Leica, not Contax G series. I had a bad experience with it. Recommended rangefinder besides Leica. I have Leica, 2 Leicas, and Zeiss Icon. I really like the Zeiss Icon. I thought I had it here on the table, but it's not here. It's really nice. The aperture priority is really simple to use, and the viewfinder is really bright. The lines are clean and easy. Advancing film is very nice. It doesn't have the same feel. Like the ruggedness of the body feels cheaper or more flimsy than a Leica. So far, I've never held a 35 millimeter camera that feels at the same level of heavy versus quality as the Leica. Not that I'm a big Leica boy or anything like that, but I think they're well made and they work very well. So yeah, I would say the Zeiss Icon ZM is pretty good. It has all the good features of the M7, and it has a cheaper price point than the M7. Has a nice light meter and aperture priority, which is really nice if you're a fast shooter and you don't want to be, metering around and stuff. But yeah, Horace says, well, you have the Zeiss Icon, the only rangefinder in 35 I really want. That base length is huge. It is very nice, and the viewfinder is very big. But there's a problem to the viewfinder on the Zeiss that I don't find on the Leica, is the moment you move your eye out of the perfect alignment with the patch, like if you shift a little bit, just a tiny bit, when you throw you lose the patch. There's no patch to see. So it's like, you know, those laptops and TVs, they say like, what's the angle of view? Let's say on the Zeiss icon, the angle of view is like 1 degree. Like you move your eye 1 degree to a side, and you can't see the patch. If you move it to the other side, you can't see the patch. You have to be straight looking into the patch. So that's one of the problems I have. Apart that it's kind of lightweight, and not that it's bad to be lightweight, but it's lens heavy, and I don't have any huge lenses, no Noctilux or Sumi looks or anything like that. But the moment you put a normal Summicron, it goes lens heavy, so it'll bang your lens all the time. Not that you're gonna break your lens, but it doesn't feel right for the camera to, you know, bang against the front. So that's the problem. Then you're battery dependent, which these batteries, you know, go on forever. And apart from that, it goes up to a 2,000th of a second. Hogarth, I do like it. It's just, I've had a few issues with, you know, like I don't like that stuff. Like I have the M2, which is a very simple camera, and I bought it really cheap. And this is built, like the weight and the body feels good. I have all the features I need. It's ergonomic. It's a cheap camera. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people would jump on that. Oh yeah, you've got a Leica, it's not cheap. I paid very little for it, and it came with a bunch of accessories that overall paid for the camera. And then the viewfinder is huge. The patch, I can see wherever I put my eye, even if my eye is moving sideways. So yeah, I like it. But the Zeiss Icon, I've done a few weddings with it, and it's super fun to use at weddings. So I won't say I don't like it. Toño, hola. But yeah, that's what I would recommend, is a Zeiss Icon if you really don't want to get a Leica. And but it's more expensive than a Leica M2, so I would say that. Let me go to Sven's questions, and there were a few interesting. He asked, first question was, where do you sell your gear? He was wanting to sell some gear, and he wants to find the best place. The best place to sell gear I have found is eBay, even though eBay is always very dangerous nowadays because it's all about the buyer protection. So if someone buys something and decides to say that you send them a brick, you're going to get no money. They're going to get the item. Some people even kind of like blackmail you and say like, oh, well, if you don't give me a discount, I'll say something's wrong after they receive it. So eBay's turned into kind of like a little, I don't know, I don't trust for selling right now. And then Facebook groups have been doing really well. There's a film buyer group and analog Europe groups and stuff like that. Those have been working really well. But I've pretty much given up selling a while ago. Every time I sold something, I would either miss it or it would go and triple in value. So I've decided if I don't have a really big urge to sell, I'm using everything and, you know, not needing to sell it. I'm doing workshops and stuff like that to get all the gear used. And that doesn't make me feel as guilty having a lot of gear sitting in my studio. Now that I'm finishing the studio, I'll be using everything a lot more. It'll be faster to develop and print and, you know, shoot all the time. Hi, Ross. Nice to see you here. Hogarth says he wants to sell a Pentax 645N, which is a great option for wedding photography. Those people obsessed with the contacts, paying up to $5 grand nowadays, will find the Pentax 645 to be an awesome camera. It has all the stuff a Contax does except for the Zeiss lenses, and you can add the 105 f2.4 from the 6x7 system. So that's a pretty good lens to have, even though the 75 2.8 is pretty nice too. Next question, he said, when developing E6, which is slides, do you think it's necessary to keep the Patterson tank in water so the temperature does not drop too much? If so, I cannot use my motorized roller. I should mention that I do C41 without issues with that roller. Okay. So I'll get back to you guys. C41 is not so critical. I mean, 38 degrees is very important, but E6 it's so critical. So if you're going to be doing slides without a proper machine, I highly recommend you put it in a bath at 39-ish degrees with a aquarium heater or something like that, and just move it with your hands one side or the other. But E6 is the most critical film to develop at home, so I highly recommend getting some Jobo secondhand, something like that, and do it with that. I use a Jobo. Camille says, what do you think about the image quality in 645 scan on Epson versus 35 on Minolta Nikon dedicated scan? That's a tough one. I mean, the 645 looks much better on the Epson compared to Epson 35 scan, because Epson scanners with 35 are terrible. But those Nikon, Minolta, the Pacon with 35 do really well. So I don't know. I can't tell you which one would be better. I would say I would probably go for 645 because probably the separation in 3D, because of the larger negative and the lenses, would probably render nicer. But it's probably very close. I do know a pro photographer here in Spain that shoots all his film 35, never medium format, and then he scans on a Frontier at maximum resolution, and the files are huge and are amazing. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I did have a friend that saw his scanning method and said it makes sense to shoot 35 shooting like that. But he does work in the lab, so he gets to use the scanner whenever he wants. That's a hard one, Camille. Hal says, I bought an enlarger from Craigslist. I did see on your stories, Hal, and I want to build an improvised darkroom while using the bathroom, but I don't know what materials to seal the door for light leaks. How there's a material, that bathroom has no window, that's good. Material for the doors, you can just use gaffer tape. Black gaffer's tape, they sell it everywhere. Amazon's the easiest probably because they deliver to your door. Now I saw that they might even deliver it to inside your house, which is pretty interesting. Gaffer's tape, and you can gaffer tape the top and the sides. And then the bottom, I found out that just a towel on the floor, just crunched against the corner, makes it for a light, safe room. So also a good thing is not to have any windows close to that door. If you have someone at home, maybe they can put a towel from the outside, but it shouldn't be a big issue. Usually try to face your back to the door so you can cover any possible light leaks going towards your paper or your enlarger. Another thing is you don't want to grab a sheet of paper and dance around the darkroom. Like, you want to just grab it out of the box, put it on the enlarger, expose it, and throw it in the developer. Don't hang around with the sheet. Even if you need to and it was super dark, the red lights will end up slowly, very slowly fogging your paper if they're not like the perfect red light or the distance and whatnot. But yeah, that's what I recommend. Gaffer tape and just a towel. And if the door is glass, then you want to use some kind of like black trash bags or whatever. Probably double trash bags will be cheap and good. Analog Adventure says, thanks for answering. I don't have any money for gear now. Have to sell some stuff. So no Jobo machine for me. I guess water bath is the way to go. Spain, just try the water bath. And if you do manage to sell some stuff, have an eye out for Jobo machines. Maybe you'll find something secondhand that you can afford. But yeah, E6 is probably the most critical for temperature. So just try it. I'm sure you can get it. It probably would never look just as good as the lab, but you probably won't notice that much because it's not that critical for us amateurs. At least I consider myself an amateur. Joey, I used some leftover Divatine from work and it works great. Any thick fabric will work though. Yeah, there's a fabric that I was recommended to do dark cloths for, and I don't remember the name, but it was really nice. Very thin and dark on one side, white on the other, but this light proof. Also, the material you use at hotels, those blinds, like the dark blinds that are black, pitch black, those should work too, and they're very thin, and you can probably buy them somewhere. Analog Adventure, another tip from Nico. I bought one of those light-proof curtains and had Velcro around the door and on the curtain. Still works fine after a few months. Yeah, you can Velcro the door, but if it's something that you don't want to do as permanent, you can just, gaffer tape it every time you need it, or just some tape and black cardboard or whatever, and see what you can do. I wanted to share something. Let me see where the camera is. Sorry. I got this the other day. It's the Bronica GS1 6x7 camera. And I shot 2 rolls so far, and I'm going to do a first impressions video. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing that kind of video, because instead of doing a proper review, which I feel I need to shoot more and try different things with it, maybe would you guys like to see like a hands-on or first impressions on each camera that I get my hands on? Because lately it's been kind of out of control, and I'm getting a lot of stuff from friends and loans, or even got a camera gifted the other day. So I would like to know if you guys would like to see something like that, because it's interesting to see immediately when you're used to a different system, you grab a different camera and what flaws you see and what things you don't like or you do like compared to other cameras. But yeah, that would probably be a video that wouldn't be too hard to do. I'm so concentrated on building my darkroom and building the studio and everything that I haven't had time to do much more than these live streams and the news lately. But yeah, I think this could be something interesting. I found a major flaw, at least for me, in the design of this camera, just to give you a quick hint. And it's this little tab here is the multi-exposure. When you pull it out of the bag, it's so easy for it to go triggered up, and you will shoot and you will wind, but there's no winding on the film. So that sucked for the first 2 rolls. My first shot on the first 2 rolls are multi-exposure heaven, and I've shot 4 or 5 shots on that one frame. So that's definitely something that I will gaffer tape, because this is actually something that really annoys me. I like that it has the option, but I don't like that it's so easy. Like, to change the ISO, to change the exposure compensation, there's a security little dials, there's like a little button that you have to press to be able to not. But to move this up and down, as you can see, there's nothing there. I wish they had implemented a little, security button so you can double check you really want multi-exposure. But yeah, apart from that, the camera's super fun. Has a built-in light meter, shoots in aperture priority, which is fun to have on a medium format system. Very lightweight, in the 6x7 SLR. Prism's big, but not so big. It's kind of the size of a Hasselblad. And like Analog Adventure says, would be interesting to compare the 6x7 cameras. Yeah, I'm about to receive another 6.7 that I'm gonna get for a loan, and that's gonna make it, I think, like 4 or 5 different 6x7 cameras, SLRs, no rangefinders, because that's another world. And I think it'd be fun to share the sizes, different features, what one's good at, what one's maybe not so good at, and compare. But yeah, I'll do a first impressions on this Bronica maybe sometime next week, and share it with you guys. Okay, I think it'd be fun. But it's a fun camera. I've shot 2 rolls with it. Haven't had time to develop, but I'm sure the results are probably nice. And it's a nice little lightweight camera. I mean, really, let me just show you how. Yeah, Hogarth, I do still have the 6x12. It has a major light leak, and I'm on the middle of trying to see if I can find it and fix it so I can probably test it. But look at this. I mean, the size of this camera. This is the Leica. It's not much taller. The body is basically the length of the body. Well, the body and the film holder is the length of the Leica body, and the lens is just a little bigger. So it's pretty nice and small, I think, without the prism. There we go. Okay. Josh says, any tips for shooting bright sunlight when a lens hood isn't cutting it? I can eliminate flares, but still get a lot of cross light. Wondering if a polarizer will do anything to help. That's actually a good question. I've been looking for exactly the opposite. So I've been looking for getting flares and light crossing and stuff like that on certain shots. So I can't tell you, Joff. I would say the best would be using the best multi-coated lenses. So no old one single coated and stuff like that lenses. You want to probably get a lens hood. Try to not shoot with the sun very much in the frame, and even then filters. I can't tell you. I'm not much of a polarizer filter guy. I do have one, but I've rarely used it, and probably not for the right reasons. So I can't really help you there. If someone can help you, maybe someone can answer that question. Analog Adventure says, I know that the Pentax is not for me, so I sold the RZ because of size and weight. Might be that GS1 is the perfect 6x7 for me. Hogger says the perfect 6x7 is the GF670. Depends on what. I don't think it's the perfect 6x7, but maybe for you, which you travel a lot. The GS1 is nice in the fact that it was very modern. It came out in 1983. There are not a lot of options, so that makes it very simple to choose. Like there's a 50, 65, a 100, a 100, sorry. Yeah, a 100, a 110 macro, 150, 200, 250, and a 500, which it's like impossible to find. And there's an 80, which was super rare, came out at the very end. So, and there's not a lot of accessories, so it's very easy to choose and pretty cheap, but there's not a lot of stuff around. So you got to find it mostly in Japan. So that is a bit of a bummer. But yeah, Horace, I think the perfect 6x7 is the GF670 for you, not for me. Is the 150 f4 the sharpest of lenses? Svein, I can't tell you anything about sharpness. I've never checked, let's see if this lens is the sharpest. I've never compared two lenses to be sharper or not sharper. I've heard good things about the 100. I've heard the 150 is nice and the 65. I've heard the 50 is a little less, but can't tell you. It's all about what I've read. I have no personal experience with it yet. House says, I got a question about developing paper. If I use the TF4 rapid fixer from Photographer's Formulary, do I still need to use a stop bath? I know with film you don't need a stop bath with TF4. Tao, oh, sorry, Tao, how? You don't need a stop bath with paper. It just makes the fixture last longer. I mean, paper you really want to fix properly because the paper, if not, will fade slowly. So I do use a stop bath, but just to make the fixture last longer and to be sure that the paper is properly fixed. But I guess you can skip it. You should ask the Photographer's Formulary about it. They probably will answer, as I think it's a small company. You know, small companies are nice and answer your questions. Joseph says, oh, that Bronica is 6x7. I thought it was 6x6. It's so small for 6.7. Yeah, it's small because it won't, the back won't move. So if you want to shoot 6x7 vertical, you're going to have to change the whole camera. And with a prism, it's okay. But with the waist level finder, you can't really do that because it's impossible to do that. They even had a prism that had a rotating little eye cup. So it was pretty nice. But it is pretty small. Josh says, yeah, it was mostly some old Minolta lenses. My Pentax ones fared a bit better. Hard to keep the glare off the 55 3.5. Even with the hood, the front element is massive. Yeah, I had the 55 3.5, and the first time I shot with it was out in Miami in a parking lot on the roof. And I can remember it being very prone to flare. So, and I had the lens hood, which was even bigger. So yeah, I can't give you any special, plus that element must be so big for the polarizer. So you're gonna have to spend a ton of money if you wanna get one of those. Harga says, I just meant size-wise. The GF670 has flaws, of course. Yeah, size-wise, it's nice. I mean, Plow Bell is also super small, very compact and easy to take. But of course, we're talking about rangefinder cameras that don't need a mirror, and they're much easier to travel with. Joseph says, you aren't supposed to use acid stop bath with TF4. I usually use a water stop bath. Well, there you go. How? Don't stop. Just use water. Sorry, I thought I had an email for questions. But yeah, so I'll try to do that. I'll do a hands-on with that. I also have to do a hands-on. You saw this, I think, last week with Mamiya Super 23. I shot one roll so far, and it's pretty fun. It's kind of a weird camera considering how it works, and the way you use it, it's like a large format camera. You can shoot with this, but you can also shoot like large format. You can just cock and then shoot with the little bottom lever. You just shoot. So yeah, I'll make a review or, well, hands-on with this too as soon as I can. Running out of space on the table. There we go. Let me see. Hao says, Joseph, yeah, I just use water too, but I don't have any experience with paper, so I just want to make sure. Yeah, I've always stopped with stop bath, but I don't use TF4. I use Ilford, I think Rapid Fixer. Maybe I shouldn't use stop bath with Rapid Fixer. Let me see what they say. Ilford Rapid Fixer PDF. Any other questions, guys? While my computer thinks for days and days about what I was trying to do. Yeah, computer doesn't work. There's no internet. Ilford needs stop bath, says Spain. Okay, that's good to know. Well, another thing, I haven't talked about the Kickstarter. It got funded 2 days after the original campaign started, and I've got a few stretch goals. If you guys want to see it and see what's going on, you can check it out. Computer's not working at all. I want to see if I can share that link to the campaign. But yeah, I'm already organizing a few more trips. Also, the new website is going slowly. Articles are very short for now. I'm just doing kind of fast news. Dailygrain.co. Let me tell you, if you guys see it and think there's anything that's going on wrong with the website, please let me know. As I'm really new at this whole, what is it called, WordPress. But yeah, my computer's totally not wanting to work. Can you guys see me and hear me? Because I have a feeling that something's not working. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's going to be easier to freeze it and restart it, but no, it's starting. I got a question now. I don't know. It just kind of weird up computer. Sorry guys, it suddenly started coming in. What's the pay for guest writing articles? Right now, the pay is me saying thank you for now, and we'll see. We'll see if we can make this website work. And I have a few people helping me out, writing, are working on certain articles. I have a few interviews that are coming, working on them as the same time as I do the videos and stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to get it off the ground and slowly do it. But you guys let me know if you want to see something, or you want to see some feature interview. Interviews, I don't want to go the usual way. There's a lot of websites doing it, and I want to do different kind of content with the interviews. So I'm gonna see where the approach takes me. So far, I've gotten one response out of like 5 people I've talked to, and well, people I've asked to, because talking would be that they would answer, but they haven't answered. But yeah. Also, let me see. You can write an article about processing E6 without a Jobo after tomorrow night. Yeah, that might be interesting to see. Darkroom's doing good. I'm about to install the Jobo and all the water faucets and whatnot. I want to document it, but it's just so hard to do both at the same time. And I will probably be finishing in around a month, and I'll share the final result. And then from there, I'll be doing minor improvements as we are using it. You would be happy to do that. Hogarth, what do you mean? Happy to do the E6 without a Jobo, or to do the E6 article? I mean, it'd be fun to have articles written on top of the usual videos, because videos are nice, but some people like seeing an article, reading it, seeing pictures and examples, and that's what I want to try to do with the magazine or website. I call it magazine, but it's a website. Oh, another thing. Oh, no, he was saying this that I thought I fixed is broken. Finally, I shot a whole roll, but it ended up being, you know, one of those rolls that goes on forever and ever, which means that it didn't work, which is pretty sad. So I have to see if I can fix it properly and use it. I really enjoyed the roll, fantasy roll that I shot with it, and makes me want to have it properly fixed. But really small, nice little 35. And the viewfinder is huge and nice. Howard, do you have an article on your site of the E6? I'll have a look. Hogarth has a pretty nice website. He's trying to help me out with mine, but he's a busy man. Let me see if I can find it so I can link it, because it's not easy to link. You guys can't link. I don't know if I can open it so you guys can share links, which would be useful, but I think YouTube considers links as spam. Boom, 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 boom. I don't see it. Oh, wait a sec. I'm trying to find his article on E6. Hogarth, do you know where it is? Can't find it. You should check. Let me just share the blog. Ah, there you go. Yeah, we could all make improvements on articles and stuff like that. I could do it myself. But where is your slide film developing? No, I don't think you have a slide film developing. Oh, doing slide film, part 1. Doing your own slide film. There you go. That's his article on doing slide film with no real Jobo. Now he has a Jobo and loves it. So that tells you how much fun it is to not use one of these. But yeah, any questions, guys, let me know. I don't know if the computer's working properly or not, but ask along, and I'll try to help you guys as much as I can. As I was saying, the Kickstarter's done. I was trying to open the link to share, but it's, oh, now it's working. I already got like the flight, I got the apartment, I've got the trip, everything's pretty much ready. I'm just missing, just in case you guys want to see, let me see. Want to check it out? It's fully funded, but whatever goes over the budget will go towards different videos. I'll be doing a Q&A. My idea is to be getting a 4x5 from them while I'm there, and if I can, an 8x10, and doing reviews with those. And those reviews, I want to make them first like a normal review, and then I want to do reviews against other cameras. So compare it to other budget-friendly cameras and compare it to some other not so budget-friendly cameras. So yeah, that's what will be going on with Kickstarter. I hope to be making around 3 to 4 videos at least from that trip, and give you guys the most content possible. Camille says, have you ever used the Provia 400X and Sensia 100? I just buy few well-stored rolls of it. Camille, I did use the 400X, and it's probably one of the nicest slide films ever. That and Astia was my favorite. The colors were so punchy and so like a little darker. It had like a darker color saturation. I don't know how I would express that, but I really liked it. And the fact that you could push it to 1600 was amazing. I really regret not buying like a big stock of it when they discontinued it. And I don't know, I wasn't using slides because I couldn't print, and I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but I didn't buy any slides when they, announced they were stopping doing those. You've heard the news, Fuji discontinued a bunch of packs, and they're going from 5 rolls to 1 roll. So there's no like pro packs on 35, which I think is not bad move, because honestly, slide film in 135 is so expensive nowadays that who really wants to buy a whole 5 roll unless you're a committed shooter? For the guy that shoots a roll every now and then, the 1 roll is going to make more sense. And if that means they continue making the film, is a good thing. Everyone's all against Fuji, which I understand. But yeah, a 5-pack of slide film is so expensive. That's exactly, Joey. That's what happens to me. Like, I want to buy a 5-pack of Velvia 50 and 135, and here in Europe it's like 17 euros 1 roll. So it's like $100 to buy a 5-pack. And now they're doing 1 roll. You can just buy 1. It's going to be 17 either way, but at least you can buy 1. So yeah, I think it's not a bad move. And I do know, as Hogger says, if you're going to shoot slide, might as well shoot 120. But that's a problem with those people that still project their slides. There's still a pretty big amount of people that decide that they want to project their slides, and those want to mount them on 35 little, mounting frames and project them. So 120 is not an option for those people. That's why I think there still is. Hopefully, if Fuji stops making slides overall, Kodak has finally launched their Ektachrome, and we have a substitute. But it's going to be a sad day if they ever do that with Fuji. It is so much better, and not many people are mounting slides. I do know a lot of people that are mounting slides. And as Joey says, I wonder how much the Ektachrome is going to end up costing. I bet you it's going to be over $10 a roll of 135. And I'm sure it's probably almost going to be over 15. I think it's going to be either between 10 to 15 or just past 15. Let's say in the US, it's going to be like 13 bucks. And I think in Europe, it'll be like a good 15 to 16 euros, which is what we get in Europe. Is great prices for film. And like Camille says, I never buy a 5-pack, especially in Poland. Camille, I live in Spain, never buy a 5-pack either. There's too much money. And I don't shoot that much slide. The only person I know that shoots a ton of slide is Ben Horn and Hogarth here, which shoot like slide all the time. When is Ektachrome finally going to land? I'm waiting for it. The only reason I bought the F3 was to shoot Ektachrome. I'll say it's going to be about $9 a roll. They have to make it cheap, man, but they're not going to. How much, sorry, when is it going to be coming? I mean, they've been saying the end of 17, but it's November in 3 days, or 4 or 6 or whatever the amount of days in a week. It's November, and there's not one single announcement. No stores are saying it. They have it on stock. So I'm wondering. I bet you will see it announced. I always said that they were going to finally come out December 31st, and then to say they did it 2017, and then they'll be coming out with proper stock during 2018. Joey, I also want to really shoot Super 8 Ektachrome. I have a Canon 310 XL, I think that's the name of it, which has been sitting in a box since I bought it for 10 bucks. Nowadays, they're super expensive, and I want to shoot with that. So we'll see. TV photo. Okay, this might be a bit of a random question. What is the weirdest lens you got to use? Okay, I'm going to tell you a lens I've used that I doubt many people own, which that I guess makes it the weirdest lens, and that is the Cook. I said it's Cook, C-O-O-K-E. Yeah, it's the Cook look. So Cook. So the Cook soft focus. It's a 279 millimeter large format lens. A friend of mine bought it brand new like a year ago and invited me to his house to test it out. We shot with it for a whole weekend. I videoed it, but I never finished that video. I had so much footage that it was overwhelming. And we printed it, and it was amazing. It's a pretty rare lens, especially because it's very expensive. It's like 3.5 grand new. And I haven't seen many people use it. But that's probably the weirdest lens I've used. Because in 120, I've used the normal stuff. There's nothing super special in 120 or medium format. In 35, Leica glass, I mean, I have shot the Nocti Lux, which is, I don't think, a weird lens. It's the dentist lens and stuff like that. I have had a few rare large format lenses that I've gotten rid of, mostly because I wasn't using. The 210 Schneider XL, because it's just big and massive and expensive. That was one I had. But weird as in weird, I don't think I've used anything very weird. Maybe the Russian panoramic camera, the Massive Beast, is one of the weirdest cameras I've shot, or lenses. But yeah, nothing very, very weird. But I have shot a lot of different stuff. And maybe the weird camera would be a 6x24. I used a Photoman 6x24 camera. We shot 3 shots on 1 roll. So that's how much you get. The Cantrell project says, film is so much more expensive in Europe than in the US. What about cameras? Are Leica's cheaper in Germany, or Hasselblad's cheaper in Sweden? That's an interesting thing. It's true, film and paper is more expensive here. Even with certain European makers, like Berger is more expensive in Europe than it is in the US. which is something I've always wondered why. I'm guessing they market cheaper because the price is cheaper there. Like Ilford is cheaper in the US than in England, which is also another very, how we say, upsetting thing. But cameras on the other side, it's interesting. People are paying more in the US for cameras than in Europe. For example, this M2 here in Spain would be 500, 450. Similar price for Europe, 500, 450. And but if I ship this camera and I put it in the States, it's 600. The Rolleiflex 2.8F, which is the most desired Rolleiflex camera, I see it in Europe around 1,000, 1,200, 1,300. People in the US are asking $2,000 for that camera, even more sometimes, which is, I'm sorry guys, way too much. The X-Span, Joey, you got the X-Span, and the X-Span in Europe is between 1.2 and 1.3 grand. Now it's going up a little bit, but in the US it's going up to $2,000, 2.2 for the first X-Span. I mean, I bought the first X-Span with the 45 and the 90 like 4 years ago for, I think it was 1,000. So things are interesting. Cameras are more expensive there than here, and film is cheaper there than here. So it's the other way around. I know places in Europe you can buy certain Leicas for 400, 500, stuff like that, and they're not in bad shape and they're working. That's the thing. I rather have a user camera than a shelf king or queen. So I don't mind paying a little less and getting a camera that can get used and abused instead of having it super nice. I have 2 M2s and one looks mint, and I just never use it because it looks so minty. Alberto says, what do you think about the 35 Sumeron? Alberto, I've heard the 3.5 and the 2.8 are pretty nice for the price point. I think they're an option. I do want to get the Sumeron with goggles with an M3 just to test it out. I would love to see how it looks. I think the ugliness in it looks nice. It's one of those fungly mixes. But yeah, I have a friend that has the 35 2.8 and he likes it. He loves the aesthetics of the older Leica glass. Joseph says that the M2 would be 800. Yeah, 500 here, 800 in the US. Bringing cameras to the US from Europe and making money. TV photo, well, Hassies are definitely not cheaper in Sweden. They're like national treasures. Meant ironically, Rollies, Mamiyas, and Bronicas are way cheaper in comparison. Yeah, Bronicas are the cheapest of them all. Mamiya 645s and Bronica 645s go for so little money, it's almost rude. Camille says, in Poland, I often saw M2s under 500, Hasselblads under 1,000 with lens, 100% working. Yeah, you can see that in Europe. Joey says, I'll send you film and you send me cameras. Yep, I'm going to Miami in Christmas, so maybe I'll send you a shipment, of cameras. But yeah, I mean, it depends on deals. You can find all kinds of things. Then I found out, I think that the Facebook groups are making things so much more expensive because there's such an urge for certain brands and certain models. Like the Rolleiflex 2.8F is like the most desired when you have a 2.8E, which is pretty much the same camera that costs like 5 times less. Same thing as the Leica M2. People are paying less than the M6 because of a light meter. And if you're using that camera with one film and that one combination all the time, you don't need that light meter. I actually find it annoying, those little arrows pointing all the way. I just never like it. But yeah, Joseph says, people are asking way too much money for the 501s here now. It's insane. I don't know I don't know how many are actually selling, but I'm seeing a lot of $1,000 for 501. That's close to the 503 CM. He's talking about Hasselblad's prices. Yeah, and don't even think about the 503 CW, which was the most modern one, and those are going crazy. But at the end, the add-ons it has and the plus and accessories it has compared to the CM, which is the oldest and cheapest, usually the C is a little cheaper, are like TTL metering, which 99% of film shooters today are not using. The grip and advance little thing, which 99.9% of the users of the Hasselblads are not using. And the mirror has the no vignetting with long lenses, which 99% of people are not using anything longer than the 150. And yeah, but everyone's paying a bunch of money for the 503 CW because it was the last one made. I remember seeing it on B&H when it was still being made. But yeah, it's prices and things. I mean, I know that they're meant to go up, but there's some examples that are ridiculous. Then I think YouTube, and I consider myself part of that ecosystem, as we're talking on YouTube now, has made things more expensive. I remember when Digital Rev reviewed the X-Span, the prices just doubled almost in a day. I wish there was like a stock market prices of cameras that you could see. Then Negative Feedback, which most of you probably know, every time they make a video on a Pentax or whatever, Pentax bodies, boom, fly over the price and hard to find, and everyone's looking for them. So yeah, it's something, you know, the more information, the more people will go one way or the other. That's why I'm not gonna make my review on the Bronica till I have everything I want for it, and then you guys can pay top dollar when I sell it. How says X-Spans are so rare these days. X-Spans are, I think they've always been kind of rare. You don't see a lot of X-Spans back in the day either. They were kind of a specialty camera. I sold it because I found out that you had to take that X-Span all the time with you to shoot that 1 or 2 frames a day that really called for the X-Span. And then that was not really an advantage to me because I was like, okay, I can miss a shot or two. And I sold it. I should have kept it considering the price point. But yeah, that's exactly it, Svein. I'm not going to review the GS1. I'm going to start reviewing any camera so the prices don't go up. Or the other way around, you know. We got to call George from Negative Feedback and ask him, what are you going to review, and buy a bunch of those and wait till he makes the video and then sell them all. That's probably easier to make money that way with ads or anything like that on YouTube. But yeah, there's 5 more minutes, guys. I've been rambling on for a while. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. If not, you can always write me or ask me for next week. Analog Adventure says, I'm selling my Mamiya 645 Pro, so do a review of that, please. I don't think my reviews make prices go up, but I can try. Plus, I don't have a 645 Pro, so it's going to be hard to make a review on that. I had the 645 Super, and it just felt so plasticky and so, I didn't like it. I had it in an exchange and never really liked it. But yeah, we'll see. I'll make a review on the camera that's not working, and I'll never show the images. But these are fun. I used to have the nice one. I think it was the Rolly 35S. I never really used it, and now I guess I've gotten used to liking 35 again. And rangefinder-ish, because this is not a rangefinder. It's a guesstimating. That's another thing I want to start doing. Would you guys like seeing videos on like hyperfocal and stuff like that and explaining it? Because I think most young people don't understand what hyperfocal is. So I think it'd be interesting. Analog says, looks like I have to sell the G17, 617 too. Sucks that money is so important. Yeah, it does suck. Having to sell gear is always something I dislike. I've sold so much and I missed it so much. Ross says, I have the Mamiya 645E and it's plastic camera, but it's working good for me. Low cost if you want to shoot. It is very low cost, and they work fine. It's just they feel so plasticky compared to other cameras. But yeah, I've been thinking of that. I've seen them sell so cheap, the 645. And compared to the Contax and the Pentax 645N, stuff like that, they've gone very much, very affordable right now, the Mamiya 645s. Kyle says, I put together a complete kit, 500 CM, 50 CF, 85, which I guess is 80, 150 A12 back for US for $2,000 in 2016. Timing was good. It is a very big kit, the CM. I mean, the CM, the 50 CF is more expensive. I mean, those CF lenses are expensive nowadays still. But yeah, it's not bad. But I still find it so expensive. Not that I'm saying you've overpaid. I'm just saying it's so much money when you put it all together. Hal says, yeah, I tried to mod some lens to Canon FD because not possible due to different focal point or something. Great to make a video about that. Yeah, I'm using Canon FD lenses too, and I need to get a body so I can shoot film with them. It's the ones I shoot my videos with, is the Canon FD. I found it was the best price per offer for video. So I've been getting those lenses, but I'll make one. And I'll explain all about hyperfocal and how it works and how I use it. Because how it works is very easy. You just have to Google the question, hyperfocal, and the definition is there. But how to use it is very different. And in large format, it can be so interesting to use. I've got some old Kodak books with proper tables and stuff for hyperfocal, so I'll share that too. Now that I'm cleaning up and finding all my old books and things like that, I'll share that with you guys. I'm just having fun pulling the lens up, sorry. But yeah, it's almost 10, so I'm gonna go and call it a day. Thanks for all the questions, guys. As always, you know, this is thanks to you. It's my live stream number 26, which is half a year basically going online and doing this. Kyle says, anyone tried Burger Pancro? I don't like my results using Rodinal and FX39. No deep blacks or highlights and negatives, just midtones. I haven't used it, Kyle, but I do know that Hogarth has used it. You can check it on his website. Let me see, it was here. And Hal, remember to send me the questions you want to have for the Intrepid people before I go, but I'll remind you guys about that. Let me see, Burger here. Burger Pancro. Here, Kyle, I'm gonna add Hogarth's little blog on the burger. But yeah, thank you guys, and see you next week at the same time over here. Thanks for joining as always, and have a good day.